call this thing to order. We do have a quorum. Hello, Mike. 1, 2, 3, 4 of us. We got 4 of, we got 5 of us. Johnny's on Zoom.
Johnny?
I got him.
Welcome of guests and public comments. Any of our guests out there want to say anything?
Do you want to say?
Anybody? Okay. Hearing none, let's go to our minutes under tab 3. If you notice, Claudia redid that front sheet there. And that looks pretty good now.
We redid it?
Hello?
Hello, Johnny, can you hear us?
No?
Barely? Now we lost your video. Do we have Maria or Renee?
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you guys fine. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah, we sure can.
January 18th.
Yeah, and I can hear Johnny too. So I don't know what. Unfortunately, he can hear we're talking, but he can't hear enough to know what we're saying.
Johnny, we can hear you. Where's the mic that I need to talk?
Over here.
Over here. Johnny, we can hear you. It appears you cannot hear us.
Well, he has you on. He's on mute, huh?
Is that you?
No. I think we just have to go ahead and go on with it. He probably.
Yeah, y'all go ahead.
Okay.
Hello? Yeah, you can hear me?
Pitch sideways.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
I don't know.
Okay. Minutes. Except for that front sheet, and we've got it corrected there. Anybody see anything else in the minutes?
I don't know. Technology's wonderful if you know how to do it.
And I thought you were a millennial all this time, so.
Pardon me?
I thought you were a millennial all this time.
Well, I'm a millennial, all right.
He heard that.
Any corrections to the minutes by anybody? If not, the chair will entertain a motion.
Hey, bingo.
Good, you can hear us.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
I found the right button and I can hear you.
Okay, great, that's great.
Good.
Johnny, any corrections to the minutes that you are aware of?
Well, to be honest with you, I haven't read it, so it's up to the rest of you. I just got the package this morning and I wasn't gonna print out 42 pages because I only had 12 pages in my printer.
All right, I have one question. Rose, this has nothing to do with the minutes, right?
No, sir.
Okay. I will entertain a motion. Anybody?
So moved.
All right, Larry moves that the minutes be approved as the one sheet correction there on the front. Second by George. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign? Okay. Next. Lisa, you don't have anything there for me, do you?
Not today.
Okay, Mary. And she goes to the microphone. Very nice, Mary. Let's see if it's on. Is
See
it
if she
on?
remembers how to do it. You're holding this up. I didn't turn it on.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
First report is our investment report. I will be investing on our treasury bill. We do have the rates for a 6-month right now showing at 4.87%, a 1 year at 4.85%. We have several treasury bills that will be maturing in the next couple of months, so I will invest where they fall in between.
Okay. Okay. Are you taking any money on our general fund, or are we using that?
Yes, I'm taking it out from the
You're
general
gonna take some
fund.
of that out for the next CD?
Yes, sir.
That may happen quickly, fairly quickly?
Correct.
Okay. Understood. Okay, go on, Mary.
Next is our balance sheet. The accounts receivable account 11600. We have several invoices pending payment. We did receive several, which included the El Paso water in the month of January. This balance consists of the drain maintenance, a license with Kinder Morgan, and the influent water, the annual billing that we sent out. Next is our net revenue. On our operating income, we are at 57% based upon our budget on the revenue received, and we're 3 months into our fiscal. There is a correction for account 40251 on the third-party implement contract. We did receive the fourth quarterly payment of $250,303. It's not reflected on the report.
Okay. So that, under budget is only about half of that.
Correct.
Mary, down on the expenses, right below there, that first few numbers, 50,000, 1, 3, 4, 5. Are those all reimbursable? Is this why,
Some of them are. Some of them do consist of the grants that Pete is working on, and the others consist of any maintenance to our system.
okay, because I noticed on the budget, we show zeros, right?
So we show 1.6.
Oh, I see, without them being delineated. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Anybody else on the net revenue? Go ahead, Mary.
Okay, our following report is our $500 check report.
I have a question on number 41. What is, I know we get reimbursed for that, right?
Yes, this
But
is,
what is that tire disposal? Can we get paid for disposing of them, or what?
for this particular one is any tires that we pick up on with the contract that we have with El Paso Water on the drain maintenance, and we will bill El Paso Water for it.
Oh. It's a lot of tires.
Sure is.
Tires. Item number 12, ready mix cement for Socorro Ponds project. What is that specifically?
That's for a true sack that was applied on the top of the pipe where it's gonna go under the ditch bank, where we're tying into the riverside of the puppy boy. So what it is just backfill or two sack to cover the pipe to handle the weight of the equipment going over it.
Does that have to do with the improvements we're doing on the ponds?
Yes. Yes.
And I'm assuming that's coming out of the $400,000 budget that
Correct.
we set aside. At some point or other, are we gonna get, and probably not related, a budget forecast of where that's at, status of that particular project? I think we had mentioned that a while back, if there's a,
Do you have it in the job? Did you run a job report on it, or?
I can
Yes.
run it.
We have it.
okay,
We have a running total.
all right, just curious to see where we're at on cost.
there's no further questions on the
Well,
fire
I
hydrant.
got one real quick. On number 11, you know, a lot of these things, we put the number that created the amount paid. On number 11, it says 4x8 plywood stock, just so I think the record keeping. How many sheets is that related to?
I will have to look that up for you, Ms.
Because see,
Mr.
like,
Rose.
it tells, you know, tires down below, 2 of them for that amount. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, because, just for, in case even your auditors look, say,
Yes.
how many? you
Yes.
know?
I will make sure to include that.
And then the one for number 2, Mr. Ornelas, is that, what period of time is that? The number 2?
I was assisting the licensing.
That one before,
Yes, before my employment, when my firm, yes, I assisted the licensing department in reviewing, catching up on some licenses, the applications that were needed review.
okay, through 12/31/22, but beginning when? Is
November
that-
28th.
Hmm?
November 28th. Essentially the month of December.
Okay, gotcha, I remember we talked about something. He's doing, okay.
Yes.
Mike, you got any more?
No,
Eric?
okay.
George?
No,
Go ahead, Barry.
Our following report is our legal and consulting fees.
Credit card first.
For
Anybody?
the credit card, I'm
Credit
sorry.
card. No? Lisa, that's a lot of pencils.
It's,
Okay,
There's
go
the
ahead.
it's office furniture.
Oh, yes.
My desk, and table.
And we also have some labor law posters that we need to update as well.
Yeah, that alone was like 800, 600.
Legal and consulting, the county says, kind of paint your eyes blurry.
painful.
Painful.
A lot of zeros, I'm assuming that they're more expenses to.
Well, Al's sneaky that way, he'll hit you up here one of these.
I'm on a quarterly, yeah.
Which we
Like
appreciate.
I thought maybe pro bono, nonprofit type thing, I don't know.
It's interest free,
Yeah. Nice guy.
Very true, yeah.
but, yeah, it matches up with the revenue payments from there. I'm synced up with the contracts I manage.
Well, anything else for Mary? Thank God, that was pretty easy today, Mary.
Thank you.
Congratulations, okay.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, Mary. Rose? You gonna check that microphone down?
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
We do have several tax adjustments that
Yeah.
how's that?
That's true.
And I want to explain what the adjustments,
Okay.
in this case, these are code 3, what we call trustee accounts. These are accounts that we have not been able to collect ourselves. We turn it over to the law firm to collect. They weren't able to collect, so we tried to sell the property. The property didn't sell, so it becomes a trustee account. So it becomes ours. So what we've done is, once it becomes a trustee account, a code 3 for tax purposes, it stops the taxation. What we found out was it didn't stop the penalty and interest. So this is what we're doing here. Removing the penalty and interest, and the cases, the properties go for sale, and we don't get notification. So there was 3 of them that the taxes are gonna be removed. I will come back next month to prorate. If the example, if the property was sold in March 1st, I'm gonna come back and tax it for 60 days, or say January and February. So these are trustee accounts. There's 7 of them here, there's 33, So I'll be coming back to you each month for those adjustments.
And what I didn't understand, Rose, did you say we become the owner?
Yes, we're a trustee.
We are a trustee?
Yes, sir. So I did contact the law firm, Lineberg, Goldie, Sampson, and Blair to get their opinion. And I couldn't find it on the property tax code. What's under the Texas Constitution? We are owners.
Wow.
And it's for public use, we can use those properties.
Did we know that before? Has this happened before?
About the code 3, stopping the taxes, yes, but not the penalty and interest.
Okay.
So the program didn't include that, it does not. That has been corrected.
Which means penalty and interest are ongoing.
The penalty and interest should not have. So at
Okay,
the time
I got
it's
you. So it
called,
is
the term is struck off,
All right.
so it should have stopped there.
Okay,
So that's what we're correcting.
okay.
Okay.
When we took ownership
Yes, as a trustee.
as a trustee.
But-
Not only us, but
Only
the other
the-
entities.
And then when it gets sold,
We will get our share, yes.
our share or whatever
So
was.
whatever the
difference.
property sold for, there's a prorated share.
We have no control over the sale, though. Who sells it?
We do,
The
it's
county?
the sheriff's tax sale, it's the first Tuesday of each month, they have sales. Now.
And they sell it for us, or offer it for sale for us, or
Yes,
do we have to let
yes,
them
we can
know?
let them know that we're looking at, we want to sell it.
Wow.
Yes, sir, we sure can.
Is
But
there
don't
a,
all the others have to agree to sell it? You said all the tax.
At this
agencies.
point, the other entities also have the same law firm that we have, so they speak for us. We tell them, and they contact them, and usually in joint agreement.
And that, go ahead.
no,
Well, on the first one,
Yes,
since
sir.
2013?
That's
Is that? is it
The
been-
number one,
No,
or you're
number
looking at
five.
the adjustment, okay.
Says,
So there's an adjustment, I gave you this, on page 2, number 5, on the report I gave you, I
Those are
said
your-
2021, it should be 2020, 2013. It's a correction to number 5.
Yeah, it's page 2.
oh,
She corrected them. Now, Rose, then my other question is, I'm sorry, George, I'll skip you real quick. How come it says owner, City of El Paso trustee? It doesn't say El Paso County,
When
whatever.
the suit is filed,
Mhm.
it has a city of El Paso, but then we are listed. I do see those.
Oh.
Yeah, we include it, sir.
Wow.
And then the other thing is that the city of El Paso, all the other entities in El Paso are consolidated with the city of El Paso, except us. But we do have the same law firm that represents us.
Okay. Wow,
it's in the mountains.
so,
complicated.
are you saying that all these are ours?
We are trustees, yes,
We're
us
trustees.
and other entities, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I think I understand. And I'll remember this until, 3 o'clock this afternoon.
So I'm asking for an adjustment of $186.36. That's total for those 7 accounts.
Okay.
I have another question.
Yes, sir.
This is just one part of many properties that.
There's 33 parcels under the code 3, which is trustees. These are 7. So next month I'll come back with some more, and so on until I get them all done.
So I'm just curious if it makes, this is really kind of, not very much money, but if you add them all up, is it worth even tracking?
Well, not necessarily it's not working, we have to have our records, true records. When the property became a trustee account, we should start taxes and the penalty and interest. So I'm correcting something that should happen then.
All right, now, Rose needs a motion approving the adjustments.
I move to approve as recommended by Rose.
All right, Mike second. Mike moves and Larry seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign? Okay, Rose.
Thank you. Our next report is with the, it's not bid for the city of El Paso on behalf of Public Service Board, also known as El Paso Water, the Lower Valley Water District, and taxes. This is for information purposes. Do you have any questions on this report?
No, but Lower, except for Lower Valley, did 112 already this year.
And that was in January.
Wow. Okay. As a matter of fact, they're here to the city, aren't they?
And we do work closely with both entities when subdivisions are coming in with notifying the entity so they can work with the property owner.
Very good.
Rose?
Our next report is a comparison. 2022 tax assessment versus the 2021. February 2022, we were 89.77.43%. Right now, we are 88.2324%. I know that we're behind, but,
We're still early, right?
well, let me tell you. So this report was generated on the 1st. I got the numbers for the 2nd, February 2nd, through yesterday, we collected $79,000 plus. So yes, it is early, so next report will reflect those 79,000, and of course, whatever we collect this month.
We'll be back to 99.9.
We will try. That's right.
I like it.
Thank you. Any questions on this report?
That's what we're not sure. Any other questions for Rose? If not, and as always, Rose, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Doing a
Thank you.
wonderful job.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Let's go to general manager's report.
Okay, so on item A, I just want to remind you all of the farmers meetings we have today scheduled at 1 o'clock here at A&M and at 3:30 on the west side. We did not file an agenda, so I had, are y'all planning to attend either one of the meetings, any of y'all?
I can't go, but if one of us could go, it'd be good, but I can't.
I'll go to the west side.
Go to the west side at 3:30? Okay.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Miguel, you done attending them?
1 o'clock?
So, and Larry said you would try to make it as well, right?
Right.
So,
That's
two,
just.
okay, so we're good, yeah, I just wanna make sure, and of course, we'll be providing a PowerPoint and an update on the outlook for the year, and we discussed this here, section 8, here in a bit, Dr. Clear.
All right.
Okay, ask for information only. On item B, we ran across this House Bill 79, and it's related to conservation and reclamation districts. Set that out for you, so you can look at it, and it's to support issuing bonds by ad valorem taxes to develop and maintain parks and recreational facilities. We ran across it and wanted to bring it to light for discussion amongst.
I wanted to ask a question, Jay.
Yes.
We keep talking about a bill. This says it's a House and Senate joint resolution.
Which is a form of a bill.
It's a form of a bill. Okay, I never saw it put exactly like that, but
It's a form of legislation requiring the same processes that a bill requires to be approved.
So what is it?
It's for a constitutional amendment, so it's a joint resolution.
I thought it probably, the resolution is we need a constitutional amendment.
Right, it's a bill a joint resolution requires both Senate and House, just like a normal bill. In this particular one is for a constitutional amendment, which requires an election from the public, so it would have to be put on the agenda for the next general election. Then the entire state would vote on it. If it gets approved, it becomes part of the Constitution. And then there's other provisions for additional legislation after that. It's explained. I think you all have a copy of it, right?
Right.
Yeah, so I ran across this. Each year when the legislature's in session, we participate with the Texas Irrigation Council, who is our group of all the irrigation districts get together and track legislation. This showed up, was filed, I believe, January 20th or 18th to the 20th. So we were unaware of it, at least Jay and I were, and so we brought it to you guys' attention. You guys have a copy of it, and Jay and I just need direction as to, do you want us to oppose this bill?
Of course we do. You know. If you
Yeah,
read it,
let me speak just a little bit to it. I mean, it's a bill to give the district the power of ad valorem taxation. We don't need that. We're not that kind of district. We don't need it. We're not real sure where this bill came from. but it's not good for us, and we don't need it, and can ultimately cause us a lot of problems. Nobody seems to own up to where it's coming from, and I know Al and Jay have run a lot of traps, and nobody seems to know where it came from. Well, somebody put it in there. We have some ideas maybe where, but we don't really know. But, you know, as far as I'm concerned, we need to oppose it because it would change the whole complexity of our district, and we don't need it. I mean, we don't need to tax people to have parks and recreation. Let somebody else do that. I mean, our charge is to deliver, maintain irrigation water and maintain the system to do such and protect those rights. It has nothing to do with us. So this whole deal needs to be opposed. And if any of y'all have any influence or know anybody that might have, we need to express our dismay with this deal, and we'll continue to investigate. And we want Al and Jay to, or I do, I hope the rest of you feel the same, speak up if you don't, but to try to get to the bottom of this and try to get it squashed, because it would be very, very disruptive to our district to have this. So anyway, having said that, what do y'all think?
I agree with you, Johnny. 100%.
Ditto.
Okay.
This is coming out of, who's the author for this? Is this our representative?
That's what we're trying to figure out. We don't know.
But the one that would know would be our local rep, I'm assuming.
Yeah, this bill was filed, and there's a Senate version of it and a House version of it. So the Senator Blanco office filed it, and State Representative Moody's office filed it. So we've got inquiries, Lisa's handling that.
Yes, I put in
Inquiries
calls
to
to both offices.
But because of the ice storm in Austin, the Capitol was shut down. Local office, all of their staff, because they're in session, they have a minimal staff.
Yes.
You can explain it better than me, but, so everybody's in Austin, but we haven't been able to contact them because of the ice.
Of the ice storm, and I've contacted both offices, both El Paso office and Austin offices for both Senator Blanco and Moody. Haven't gotten any response. I tried again this morning, 7:30. I've been calling to try to get answers on.
And this is gonna be voted on November 7th, that's the next election, I'm assuming, that's.
No, it's a bill filed in the House and the Senate,
Pass both.
and there's a long process.
There's a process, but at
Yeah.
the end of the road, it's gonna be the 7th of November,
It could-
if it makes.
It
Yeah.
could take longer.
Yeah,
So
there's
there's
30
time.
steps.
There's time for it to go away, so
Right.
when we haven't reached our Senator Blanco's office, it's just a matter of having a conversation with him, and he's our representative or senator, so who's gonna make that lead, or who's gonna make that conversation on behalf of the district?
Well, we've started that. We've always done, staff's done that.
Yes.
Lisa's
So
doing
you're
that.
the point person?
Yes.
Okay.
How many other districts is this affecting in the state that you're?
Well, this is a bill specific right now to El Paso County. It's adding El Paso County into a list of other counties that it's already done for. So we looked into that, and the ones that we know of specifically are Horizon. Bud is qualified as a reclamation district. Lower Valley is, Pava's number 4. Tornillo, those are active. We used to have quite a few more of these, and here we're just talking really about in the valley. They have some footprint in the valley. Horizon's mainly up out of the valley. Westway used to be over in your side, George, but we checked that and it says they're inactive. The city's taken over, I think, the Westway water system. City, our village of Vinton is not a reclamation district. And Jay, we looked at, there's a bunch of little tiny ones up
Up north of, I turned up to the Mesa, but yes, Paseo del Norte, the ones that are functioning outside of Horizon, but
And the point being with that is nobody that it would affect knows anything about it. And they didn't ask the senator, nor did they ask our representative Moody to file this deal. So we were wondering, where did it come from? We sure don't want it. None of the rest of them knew anything about it, and I think Jay's contacted all of them, haven't you, Jay?
well, yes, we reached out to all of them, really, the ones we just mentioned, and they weren't aware, and it wasn't filed on their behalf.
The small ones we haven't, I mean,
Yeah,
they're all minor ones, but they're all municipal utility districts.
Ravens and Tornillo,
But the main ones that we were directed to contact, that we logical that they might be wanting this, I guess, is Lower Valley. Because it's next to us, it's the next biggest one, and then Horizon, they're very light. Horizon, you got a confirmation from both of those that they weren't aware of it. We didn't contact number 4 yet, or
No.
Tornillo, we don't, there's no indication that they're pretty small districts.
Did you say one of them was in favor of it?
No, we haven't gotten anybody in
No,
favor of it.
see if they want to file on their behalf or are aware of
Well,
the.
if it's only affecting El Paso, why is it put on involved with the state legislature?
So we're prohibited from having an ad valorem tax by the Constitution. We have been since 1907, when these type of districts were formed. And so we're a benefit tax district, and that's, appropriate. So this expands your constitutional authority of reclamation. We're a conservation reclamation district. It expands the constitutional authority of those districts in El Paso County to be able to do, not saying you have to, but it gives you the ability to have an ad valorem tax, which is a completely different type of tax for parks and recreational activities. So it expands our taxing authority. All the reclamation districts within El Paso County to expand their authority. But we haven't figured out if there is a district that wants that, for some reason they want that expanded authority. We haven't found that, and you haven't received, we've talked to people
Yes.
at Moody's office, right?
Yes.
We've talked to them, but they haven't any indication of who
requested it.
requested
Who
it.
requested it?
So
That's
at this
our
point,
ans-
we
that's
don't
our question.
know.
Who generated or where it came
So
from?
we just have to work it, right? We're just bringing it to we just discovered it since last board meeting, we bring it to your attention. If anybody on this board wants that authority, let us know. Right now, my understanding is that in general, the board doesn't request any taxing authority, additional taxing authority.
You're Johnny, and I'm right with him, and Larry's right.
Yeah, I know, of course now, we don't need it, I mean, there's no, the way that deal is written, we have no use for it, at all, and it's problematic. Also, I think you might tell everybody, we've talked to the irrigation council, the Texas Irrigation Council's, representative, lobbyist, whatever you want to call him, Jay Howard, and he's also investigating, because we don't know where this came from. Nobody that would be one of the districts did. So, we don't know for sure where it came from. We have some ideas, but we don't know. And hopefully we'll get to the bottom of it. If Moody's office, or the Senator Blanco's office will talk to Lisa, maybe we can find out where they come to. So far, she's been, I think, unsuccessful in being able to have a dialogue with any of those people. That come from somewhere, and it certainly wasn't us or any other district, so what is it all about?
Right.
Anyway, hopefully we can get it together before it takes on too much life. That's where we're headed if everybody's in agreement.
It sounds like this district's not in agreement, and I get it, but we got time, obviously, and you're gonna be the point person, Lisa, I'd like to continue with the update and make sure that Senator Blanco gets back to you or somebody gets back to you. We're updated on a regular basis. That way, like Johnny said, it doesn't take a life of its own, because sitting on the sidelines not doing nothing is not gonna help our cause. And it's something that we need to monitor closely.
Yes, and
I'm
we
gonna count
haven't been on the
you, Lisa,
sideline,
to
we've
be
been
monitoring it
really
if
active.
that's the case, or wherever it's gonna be taken.
We just ran across it, and, since we found it, we've been working it and trying to, we'll stay on top of it, and keep you abreast of, the latest and greatest, as we find out as well.
So, all right, you as general manager, keep us posted, because I
Absolutely.
really want to
Absolutely,
find out
yeah.
where it's headed and.
And if you all hear anything, keep us
Yes.
posted, keep Jay and Al posted,
Yeah.
and Lisa, because,
Yeah,
like I say, what we're trying to do is get this thing taken on real life. Right now, it's just a proposed, resolution in both House and Senate, but that's a long way from getting passed, but we need to, try to keep on top of it, because it's something we certainly don't need, and it's no bearing on our our district and our function and our stars, really. So
Right.
it's dangerous, I'll put it that way.
Right, and, you know, the ice storm in Austin just essentially melted and everything came with a screeching. Yeah. Stop, and, you know, the cleanup on all the damage that was done, so it's taking some time, but I think as soon as they reach out to us, or, you know, one of the entities says that they requested it, but we'll keep you abreast immediately.
People's abreast, but I think it's sense of the board right now, we don't want it. This is detrimental to us, all right?
Sure.
So if y'all carry that message.
Well, whoever introduced this, it's gotta be a record of who, and disclose who did it.
You know,
And that's what
you
you're looking
remember?
Yes, correct.
Well,
They gotta have a reason.
yeah, no, it's, so the way that it works is the representative and the senator get to submit any bills that so when we elected them to do that, so they can submit any bills. Most likely, somebody requested this, but that's not part of the process, that's external to the process, so, so we have there's not gonna be any record in the House or the Senate of who requested it. That's an external, that's a public, you know, what happens between the voters and your representative. So that's why we requested it, and maybe they don't wanna share with us, I don't know. I don't know, I mean, if it comes back, for example, our concern was, let's say it was Lower Valley, which there's no indication that it is. Correct. Every indication there isn't, but let's say Lower Valley did want this authority because they want to do parks, then, you know, I think we need to work with them to understand that whoever wants this, because it sort of sweeps us all up into this, because it's at a constitutional level, which is very coarse, so it's a conservation reclamation district. And obviously the county already has this authority, and the city already has this authority to ad valorem tax for parks and recreation. So this was a new, and it's only a resolution to put it on the ballot. And then once it's on the ballot, if it were to get approved and give us that authority, then there's other elections, like we would have to have an election for the bond. So it's a complicated process. There's no indication that the bill's moving anyplace right now, but it's early in the session. And in general, taxation bills are very difficult to move. So,
Very good.
Yeah, I think all of us have enough taxes, you property owners, if you look at all the different people that are taxing your property values, you know, from community college to hospitals to schools to counties to state and all that, I don't think we need another one as landowner. We don't need to have to pay more taxes, but that's my opinion.
All right.
Okay. That'll work, we'll stay on it.
All right.
Okay, 7C, we're gonna have a meeting tomorrow with Elephant Butte Irrigation District, an operations meeting. Myself, Dr. Blair and Robert are meeting with EPCWID's counterparts, Mr. Patrick Sullivan, the general manager there, and James, the water master, and Dr. King, and kind of work on discuss what we're going to discuss the farmers meeting and the release for this year and whatnot, so kind of coordination, and get to meet Mr. Sullivan as well. Dr. Sullivan.
Great. And I'm glad to hear James is still there, right?
Yes.
Did they release with us last year?
yeah.
Yes.
We've released with EPA, what, for the last 3 years?
For y'all that didn't know, this is just a side note, Mike McNamee is no longer the president of EPCWID. He's resigned his position.
He's still a board member, just not.
Well, he told me he's only a board member, very temporary till their next meeting, which I think is today.
Oh, really?
And they're gonna put in Isaiah Ulmer, a young farmer up there. Ulmer? Yeah. And that at that, he will actually step down from the board. It was kind of sudden, and
What's the last name of the person I'm gonna put up?
yeah, Ulmer, it's spelled, you know how to spell it? His first name is Isaiah.
Okay.
And
What does he farm?
Pecans
Pecans.
Cards Pecan, and it's right there on the state lines there.
and Cantillo, it's ULMER,
ULMER.
I think, yeah,
Isaiah, ISAIAH.
Did you catch that, Marianne?
Yep, thank you.
Okay, and that's what Mike told me, so if that process is ongoing, it's probably going at their meeting. I believe they're having a meeting just like us today.
Yep,
And Mike called me a few days ago. I asked him why he was a little vague. I do not know if it's medical possibly. He's had some issues or what, but, or he might have just gotten tired of it. Or maybe his
He
wife,
wasn't in there very long, was he?
not as president.
I think it's probably TV,
It's what?
TV,
Oh,
tired butt.
He gets plenty of exercise in that helicopter. So,
Yeah.
Okay,
okay, that was just informational too, since you mentioned you guys.
okay.
Okay.
Yes, we'll let you know, yeah, we're gonna meet with them tomorrow, so we'll have a meeting and we'll let you know, how that goes.
And, let's see here, Robert, I'm glad, James, I'd heard a little rumblings that possibly James wasn't gonna be there, but you haven't heard anything.
I've talked to him twice this week, and
No,
he's a strong young man that,
yeah, okay.
I think he's the only one left there from the old,
From the old crew?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's see, Mr. Blair, Dr. Blair, district engineer.
This is a presentation that I'm proposing to give this afternoon at the farmers' meetings. It's almost, well, it is verbatim, except for the numbers changed, what we do each year and what the board's asked me to prepare. So, you know, the opening is we only allocate water and storage, but we're gonna look at the snowpack and the watershed, which I'll do here with you guys. But when we get to the bottom, we only allocate water and storage. So number one and number four are the same thing. And so that's, I think worked very well for us for a long time to try to explain that it's, until we get the water and storage reclamation and allocate to us, we can't allocate it to the farmer. But, and then I always typically, because everybody at the farm meetings wants to know the answer before they know the reason, is, this is what Robert and I, if we had to, and we make it very clear that we're not making an allocation, the board has not made an allocation, but if we were to recommend an allocation for Robert being the general manager, that at this time, it would be 15 inches, which is good, that's more than last year, but this time it was 12 inches. So we've got a little extra water, as everybody knows, in storage. That would be 3 small tracks, right, Robert? And the target dates we're meeting with EPCWID on are to open the gates June 2nd. That would put the water down here in El Paso Valley sometime between the 8th and the 10th. We don't know when we're gonna close the gates, but we hope in September, right, Robert?
Right.
But we don't know. So, and Johnny's always had me be really cautious, so I won't have to be with you all right now, but when I do the farmers meeting, I'll say, repeat some of these things 3 or 4 times in Solo J to make sure everybody knows that these are not fixed.
A minimum of
Yeah.
3 or 4 times.
So they're
They
over and
already hear
over.
what you want to hear and not what you said a lot of times.
Right.
yeah, well, I'll think about putting under, in parentheticals, under the title, recommended initial, not fixed, I mean, put it right on the slide.
Right. Well, we'll, yeah, sure, that's good.
One last year was 4, wasn't it, for the small tracks, Robert?
Yeah, but that was not in February, it
I
wasn't.
think it was even 5, didn't it?
No.
It was 4, I think. So we're gonna have more water come in.
Yeah.
So between now and when the allocation's made, which will probably be in May, like we did last year, there'll be more water coming in. I'll talk about that. But today, we only can allocate on what's in storage, and so that would be 3.
We can allocate what's in the bank.
The Elephant Butte does the same thing.
Although I was offered loads on crops that were in the field, but I never took them. They always did seem a little nervous about that. So right now, the reservoir is, combined storage is 318. Of course, that's shared with the project losses in Mexico and some compact adjustments that'll come in. We don't think the compact adjustments are gonna be very large, but we won't know those until later. Current inflow is 840 acre feet per day. So that's,
Hey, Al, you said February 5, 2021.
oh, sorry, yeah, I'll correct that. That was from last year, obviously. This is a comparison of last year and this year for Wolf Creek, which is, one of the high elevation, one of the locations that has the most snow in the watershed, and we find most value in this number. You can see that we're actually right now a little bit behind where we were last year at Wolf Creek. But not much. Statistically, it's the same number. If we look at averages of all the gauges, we're above average, except for Sangre de Cristo, which is below. But in February, it's not as significant. We really have to wait till April to really look at the snowpack. And so, also, I think everybody knows that because of losses in the watershed, that it takes a greater than normal